The Google Pixel 5 release date is likely towards the end of 2020, a year that's starting to feel very long, but that just means that the search engine giant has time to retool and learn from the feedback on the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL phones. Before the Pixel 5, we're expecting to see the Pixel 4a phones, mid-range versions of the Pixel 4s in the same vein as the Pixel 3a. When the Google Pixel 4 phones launched in late 2019, we unsurprisingly loved their photo capabilities, but found they fell short in some other areas. Those shortfalls give us ideas for what we'd like to see in the Google Pixel 5, and since there aren't many real leaks or rumors about the upcoming Pixel 5 devices just yet, we've taken this opportunity to make a wish list for Google's next flagship smartphone. The Pixel 4 and 4 XL were popular devices, but didn't get quite the enthusiastic welcome of the Pixel 3 phones, so the upcoming handsets could be Google's opportunity to wow buyers who could benefit from what Google does best. Read on to discover where we think the Google Pixel 5 could succeed. It's a bit early to assert with confidence when the Pixel 5 release date will be, given how tumultuous 2020 has been, but given precedent we can take an educated guess. The Pixel 4 launched on October 24 of 2019, and we can reasonably expect another release around that point in 2020, given every previous flagship Google Pixel has launched in October. It's unclear exactly when in the month we'll see the Pixel 5 though. The first 3 Pixel phones were unveiled in the first week or so of the month, while the 4th came out at the end. Your guess is as good as ours. In terms of how much you'll pay, the Google Pixel 5 price will likely be at the same price or a bit higher than the Pixel 4. The phones have been slowly climbing in price, up from above mid-range territory to true flagship price tags, and Google seems to be pitching its flagship phones as equal to that tier, so expect them to keep a pace with rising flagship. One surprising leak is that the Pixel 5 might not have flagship power, as unreleased code in the Google Camera app suggests that it uses the upper mid-range Snapdragon 765G chipset. It may get an upgrade over that though, as Qualcomm has since launched that chipset's successor, the Snapdragon 768G. This is pin and software compatible with the Snapdragon 765G, so it should be easy for Google to make the change if it had been intending to use the 765G, and it offers all-round improvements, coming a bit closer to the top-end Snapdragon 865. We've also heard the Google Pixel 5 could have a reverse wireless charging feature, according to Android 11 code found in a developer beta. This would let you power up other devices, like earbuds, a watch, or another phone, using the Pixel 5 as a charging mat. This feature can be a bit of a power drain though, so has the company found any ways to fix our biggest Pixel 4 gripe? Well, possibly, because we've also heard of an ultra-low power mode which could come to the phone as well as the Pixel 4. This mode will likely turn off a load of features of the phone like location tracking and auto-syncing apps, in order to keep your handset ticking along as long as possible. Check back for more Google Pixel 5 news and leaks, as clearly we're a bit early into the process to see anything concrete. That should change over the next few months and maybe even weeks, as manufacturing of Google Pixel 5 prototypes continues. Google, last year, actually provided its own leak of the Pixel 4 in shadow in June, so we can keep our fingers crossed that it spoils its own surprise when it comes to the Pixel 5. Stay tuned for more updates as that happens. By far the biggest gripe about the previous Google Pixel phone was its short battery life. While capacity isn't necessarily indicative of how long it takes for the percentage to tick to zero, the 2,800 mAh battery is small by 2020 standards, and many users found the battery dying before the end of the day. The Google Pixel 4 XL fared somewhat better with its 3,700 mAh capacity, but even that lasted only a bit more than a day. If Google wants to play with the big phone boys, it has to keep up with the 4,000 mAh and greater batteries out.
The Google Pixel 4 has no rear-mounted fingerprint scanner like the Pixel 3, nor does it sport an in-screen finger sensor like many premium smartphones as a backup biometric. All it had was facial recognition, and it wasn't the best. Some might find it easier to use, but others are likely frustrated to have to stare into their phone until it unlocks. In the Pixel 5, we prefer both facial recognition and a physical or screen-mounted fingerprint sensor. Heck, just put a button on the back, we're not picky. We just want to be convenienced. Google, we come on bended knee. We entreaty. We plead. Make like every other Android flagship in 2020 and give us an ultra-wide lens on the Google Pixel 5. The addition of a telephoto lens was very welcome, justifying a lot of hopes that a second lens would enhance the Pixel's portrait photography and expand its versatility. But the phone could be so much better, and have so much more range, with an ultra-wide camera. We can, and will, still dream, a minimum 64GB of storage and a maximum 128GB? Is this a joke? Google's not-so-subtle nudging for users to offload their storage to the cloud is pretty egregious. People store locally for reasons, especially when they don't have reliable signal. It's frustratingly limited not to cheaply expand what's typically the easiest to auto-include in an Android smartphone. Truthfully, we doubt a microSD card slot will be a part of the Google Pixel 5. It wasn't in any previous Pixel phone, nor was it part of the Nexus series. But there's ample reason to desire a microSD card slot. The Google Pixel 4 smartphones sure do look a bit odd compared to their dual-finish, single-hued predecessors. They're bare-backed except for a questionably stylish camera block, with a matte glass finish encased with a rubber frame around the edges. It's an odd, distinct aesthetic. And, of course, there was a return to a top bar bezel instead of a notch. All in all, the Pixel 4 devices are far from conventional Android phones, far from the nearly full-screen sleek flagship phones put out by Samsung or Huawei, but darn if they aren't unique and particular in a market of gleaming black rectangles.